This time of year, it's getting kind of ugly out here in the garden. But there's no reason why we shouldn't do a garden tour. Besides, my fruit trees are waking up. There's still life in the garden. And I have a very special announcement on how I'm going to expand on how I'm going to feed my family. So yeah, come on, let's take a look around. So yeah, like I said, there's still plenty of life out here in the garden. I have plenty of heads of cabbage. I still have probably about 15 heads. Some of them are just about ready to go on and harvest. So maybe this one will come out this weekend. Maybe two of them. We'll see, because I do love some cabbage. That's Bear just saying hi to somebody, or maybe saying hi to you guys. You always like to do that when I come out here and do a video. Now here's another row of cabbage, and I learned a lesson with these. These cabbage were planted probably about a week before the other ones that I planted. See, they're barely forming heads. They never got the size of the other plants. And I realized, and this is a problem I knew I've had for a while. What I talk about? Looking ugly in the garden? But this is the issue I have here. This fence. This garden has been here 20 years, and the fence has been blocking the shade, or has been producing shade. These broccoli plants are mostly in the shade. They do have some direct sunlight, but really not enough to really produce good heads. I fertilize them every time I fertilize the other plants, but you can see the end results. These guys here versus what I showed you earlier. Another issue I have on this side, this tree here. Like I said, this garden's been here 20 years. That tree is producing some shade into the garden also. So one thing I'm going to do for the spring is make sure whatever I plant over here is more shade tolerant. Something that will still grow well. They might actually benefit from having a little less heat on them. So that's a lesson learned for the garden. I don't care how long you've been gardening, there's always something new you can learn. And like I said, it's kind of ugly out here in the garden. I have plenty of weeds, but I also have some spinach out here. They grew fairly well, or fair to middle. I've had spinach grow better, but these are still good. They're definitely good enough for some salads and things, so I'm not overly disappointed in those. I also have some Brussels sprouts. I hope you can see the sprouts up in here. They aren't super big yet, but there's still plenty of time out here for the sprouts to get bigger. This is the first time in years I've really tried Brussels sprouts. Some years I've had success, other years not so much. So I didn't give up. I figured why not give it a shot. And next over here, I still have plenty of collard greens. Maybe these will be for this weekend. I did these plants here was my second set of plantings. But these over here, which are almost as big, I did the cut and come again method on these. So I've already harvested on these plants once. As you can see, these are little pieces here that came off from when I did the cut and come again method. Great method to give yourself a second harvest of collard greens without having to plant extra plants. Now, speaking of ugliness in the garden, these guys here, which years prior I would have pulled up, but these were my broccoli plants. I say were, but I should say still are, because these guys are still producing side shoots. I've already harvested some once, and I'm going to at least have one more set on some of these plants. This one here, I don't even think I took any off before. I have 3 or 4 in here. Little guys down here. This guy over here has some. And one thing I'm not going to do this year, since these are all, look at this one. It has about 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 on there. Yeah, 5 on there. One thing I've done in prior years is I would go on and take these plants up. And this year I decided to wait until I get some side shoots. And from there I am definitely going to take them up. I would normally wait for them to go to seed, but these are a hybrid variety called Green Magic. And one thing you find with hybrid vegetables or fruit, the seeds don't always produce the exact same thing. Case in point, my muscadine bush over here, or bushes, or vines. These vines here were planted when my wife bought some muscadines one year. She ate them, saved some seeds, and decided we would plant some muscadines. Several of the seeds were planted, and it produced all of this. And the funny thing is, I didn't know if they were hybrid or not until I started getting muscadines from these plants. I got two different varieties. One dark purple variety. It was about the average size of a grape and had a larger variety that looked a lot like the original muscadines that she was eating. So sometimes you find you might get what you need out of a plant, but I really didn't want to do that with these hybrid broccoli plants. Because one thing with hybrid seeds, not only might they not produce the exact same plant, but they might even not really produce anything. So the plants might grow, but they might grow really super small broccoli, or they may not really produce anything at all. So I'm not going to waste the space or waste my time and bother with that. So this is my giant fig tree. Yeah, I'm going to have to prune this guy down one year. I pruned it down prior years, and I took off huge branches, but it seemed like it just spurred it to grow more. So, but one thing I do like right now, I'm seeing signs of life. These buds, I don't know if you can tell real well, but that there is starting to get a little green. It's a little bit of a concern to me because it's late February, and last year we had a late frost in March, and this tree had already leaved out, and that frost hit it, and I lost all my leaves, and I think it delayed my production on this tree probably about 3 to 4 weeks. I had great production, but it was just late. Now yes, they do get that big. It's about probably over 20 feet tall, and probably about 20 feet wide. It's huge. But like I said, it's 20 years old. Well, not quite. Well, close, because I put it in about a year after I bought the house. So yeah, if you buy one of these, if you really love figs and you got the space, just let it grow, grow, grow. But one thing I do want to eventually do is cut it lower, because the tree is sending out energy all the way to the top and producing fruit up there too. Fruit I can never reach. I prefer that the tree produces fruit where I can reach it, even if I have to get on a ladder. Now this tree here, my pear tree, which is overgrown, it was here when I bought the house. My concern is it budded out already, even further along than my fig tree, and it probably will get production. But once again, I dealt with that late frost last year, and I got about 25% of the pears that I normally get. This is a kefir pear tree. Look at all these buds. That's just the flowers, but the flowers produce pears. What are you doing? Are you eating again? Something off the ground? And here is my peach tree. One thing I made a mistake about years ago when I started planting more of these trees, and this is one I planted myself. I wasn't doing YouTube videos, so I didn't bother keeping track of exactly what varieties I was planting. It's budding out, which I'm very happy about, but once again, I have a big concern because this got hit by the frost late last year, and I got little of nothing off of this tree. So wishes. And like I said, there's life on my fruit trees. This is one of my plum trees. It's full of blooms. Hopefully it produces really well. I did buy a second plum tree, which I'm about to show you. It's fairly new. It's only about a year old as far as how long I've had it. But I brought in another pear tree so I can get a little more production. And there's Prince. Let's go visit the greenhouse for a second. My persimmon tree, nothing's going on this year so far, which I'm glad about. The frost hit it last year, got nothing off of it. Previous year, I got over 150 fruit off of this tree. So I'm glad it hasn't come to life yet. And once it does, I'm sure it's going to do fantastic. We'll keep track of this one. So I figured I'd take a quick trip into the greenhouse. Not a ton going on. I do have my Asian pear tree that I am propagating, trying to get some more roots on there. Air laying is what they call it. I do have a video on that where you can air lay a fruit tree and get a second tree for free. This one here I bought last year. It's a Mythi plum tree. You really need two because these trees need pollinators, so I have two. The price, got this last fall or early January, actually it wouldn't be fall, last December or January. I got it for about $22. If you go in there today at the Lowe's place, this tree might be $40 or $50. You never know. Prices have just gone sky high. That's why if I can, I buy my stuff on clearance. Same thing with this Golden Delicious apple tree, regular price $30.98. Got it for about 22 bucks. And I have this tree here, which has been here for about over a year. This is my Honeycrisp apple tree. It's a semi-dwarf tree. And the reason I have these trees in the garden right now is because Bear, this guy right here, yeah, look at you. He's pretending like I'm not calling him out. He destroyed one of these these Asian pear trees and a Honeycrisp apple tree that I planted in the yard. So I figured until they get a little bigger, and also until I devise a way to put something around them, not really devise, but I know what to do. I'm just busy, so I didn't do it. I need to put something around them to protect them from him, because literally he took a tree and I came on the yard and everything from here on up was gone. So lesson learned. And remember how I said some things are getting ugly out here? Well, this is the collard green, and I don't know if I just didn't put enough fertilizer on it or take care of it well enough, but this collard green here has never been harvested on, and it's still as small as any of the collard greens I have in my garden. And these here are some cabbage that I know I've neglected over the last week or so. They've never really grown well. I fertilize them every time I fertilize the rest of my garden, but they just didn't do well here in the pots. Some people do well in pots of things, I just didn't. And these guys here are some green onions I had. Short story about these. My wife and I she bought some green onions last year. We ate them. I took the little roots, stuck them in the ground here, watered them, and we've had green onions for 10, 11 months. It lasted great through the winter, and I harvest them once in a while whenever I need something for a salad or a sandwich. So yeah, you can do that with your green onions. It's an easy deal to get some extra produce for free. And this is my little trellis that I made from some old fencing. I have some snow peas. They were doing better. This one's actually just still doing pretty well. I planted them the wrong time of year, but I just want to see what they did. And some of them are doing fairly well. I did get a little production of it. Look at this. I'm holding it. There's a little bean there. Snow peas. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm going to put some more seeds in. Didn't even notice seeds too. Here's another seed there, another bean there. There's another bean there. With these flowers going, as long as the weather holds up, I should be just fine. May need to plant some more seeds in there and in here. See how high they go up. And I even have some beets in this one. Here, I have 2 or 3 beets right here, maybe another one there. So we'll see what happens with those. Thai garden. These are mustard greens. I just harvested them last week using the cut and come again method of gardening. So I figure there's still enough time for these to grow back up pretty well. That one I didn't cut down as much, but I left plenty of leaves on these so they can still absorb more energy from the sun. And hopefully I can harvest these at least one more time. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit and started putting some cow manure down to kind of pre-feed my soil, but that's okay. Either way it goes, I'm going to have food here. Yeah. Now normally these guys would all be in the greenhouse, but greenhouse is not heated. So I brought these into my garage. I've kept them in there a good part of the winter and summer. My Meyer lemon trees, not doing any worse for the wear. At least that one's not. Now this one here, I think I left it out one night when it got really cold, but it's still doing okay. I'm not too overly concerned about the brown leaves. I do see, or at least I thought I saw, a bud that opened up, but maybe not. This one here looks like it's close to opening. Oh, here it is. These become lemons. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've taken some buds off because the tree I've only had about a year or so, but now I think I'm ready to let it see what it will do. Also bought a Meyer lemon tree, not Meyer. This is a key lime tree. It's doing okay, plenty of buds on it. Lost some leaves, but I think it's about ready to start coming back to life a little more. It's been in the garage, so it did suffer a little damage, but I think it's gonna be okay. This one here I found at Lowe's once again, half price last year. I think he got this for like maybe $15, something like that. Pretty cheap is basically what I'm saying. And these guys here, I have 3, and I did save the tags. Navajo, thornless, blackberry bushes. I have this one here, and this one here. I love it because it's coming to life again. These are new leaves. Leaves coming back. And this guy here is my first time mulberry tree. All these leaves just showed up over the last couple weeks. So yeah, it survived the garage. And this guy here is another blackberry bush. I'm not sure exactly what type it is. Quite possibly the same type, but once again, just like the other one, it's thornless. All these are new leaves. This guy here is, what is this guy here? A Sunny Bell blueberry bush. No new life on this. I think it did okay in the garage. I kept it watered enough. So hopefully in the next couple weeks it will come out and put some life into it. It'll show some life. Here's my Heritage Evergreen raspberry bush. So haven't grown any of those before, but hopefully this one will start showing some life soon, and hopefully I'll get a ton of raspberries. Love blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. I'm big into berries. Here's something else I did last fall. Doesn't look like much, but these are pomegranate cuttings. I bought these pre-rooted. Some of the roots have gone fairly well. Some of them have gone a little slower, but there's still life in these, which is the most important thing for me. And I don't know if you can tell, but this one right here, see that little bit of red there? That's new growth. It's not a lot of growth, but it means it survived and it's going to thrive. Here's another one here. I'm not going to bother taking that one out, but just want to show you what's going on here in the garden, or in my extra part of the garden. I want to tell you a quick story before I make my special announcement about how I'm going to be doing more to grow family for my food. Recently I was looking for a snack in the cabinets, and I looked to the back of the cabinets and I saw some cookies. I knew I had them for a while, but I honestly had no idea how long I had them. And I ate them. They were tasty. They were crunchy. They tasted fantastic. Next day, I looked at the box. Expiration date, 2019. Now, I'm not going to call out the vendor, the brand. All I'll say is that I bought them, or I might have bought them from some little girls that were hanging outside of Walmart. Unless it's something that I can and preserve myself, I really don't want cookies that last me 4 years. I don't need them. That's why I grow my own food. Because I know what I put in my food. I know what I grew it with. I know that it's all natural. I know every single thing that I put in it. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Hopefully you'll get a chance to do too. Now for a little surprise. I'm going to be changing a few things on my channel. Nothing too major. I'm still focusing on my garden, growing berries, growing fruit trees, doing what I can to grow food for my family. And being Farmer Marshall, I feel like I should be doing more. I considered goats, but frankly, my dogs would hate them. They would destroy my backyard. I don't have enough space for it. I considered chickens. Frankly, if I'm raising chickens for meat, the roosters would drive me crazy. I'm a light sleeper. My dogs keep me up enough. I also considered rabbits, and I've seen certain gardeners, homesteaders who raise rabbits, and this past year I know of 3 of them that lost their rabbits. 3 of them. That's a lot to lose. So I decided, for me, for my family, the best thing is to do, I'm going to raise quail. This is my egg incubator that I just got, and I'm going to use this to make a quail brooder for the baby quails. First 3 weeks, they're going to live in this. That may seem small, but quails do very well in very small spaces. That's another reason why I'm going to be raising quails. So I'm going to be finishing this. I may put a little video on about it. And also after that, I need to go on and make my quail cage, hutch, whatever you want to call it. It's not going to be super huge, but it's going to be big enough to raise quail. Plenty of them. I should be able to put about 40 or 50 of them in there, raise them, get more eggs, and I will be eating eggs, eating quail. I won't be showing you how to harvest them, let's say, but I will be showing different things on how to raise them. It's not going to change too much on my channel. I don't expect that it's going to take up more than 3 to 5% of what I show on my channel. Hopefully some of you guys will find some value in this and might even do it too, or at the very least, learn from my mistakes. And the great thing about raising quail is not only will I get meat birds, I'll get eggs, and also I'll get tons of poop. And know that poop is going into my compost, and that compost is going to help my garden grow even more. So please come back, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, so you can be here next time I get a chance to tell you, let's get out there and get a little dirty.